So for today's video, it's going to be really exciting because my husband's actually going to be picking out my May TBR, and I don't really know how that's going to go. He did say that he's going to take it seriously, and he does come with me a lot of the times that I do pick up my books, so he does pay attention-ish. So I'm actually going to be giving him a couple of rules just because I have to be realistic and we both have to be realistic. We can't just like pick out any books and I'm not going to read them because I actually do want to read them. So one of the rules is going to be where it has to be less than like 500 pages. Like, I don't want to read something big, especially if it's like a fantasy, because they usually are like over 600 pages and that's just going to take me a long time to finish. It's going to be also split into 3 different genres. He has to get me a romance, a thriller, and a fantasy. And then he's also gonna have to pick at least one in my TBR that's already there because I have a pretty big line. I still have some over here too. So he's gonna pick at least one of them just so I can actually like take one of these out and read them because they have been there for a really long time. So those are all the rules, and so we're gonna hop into the actual video. I'm actually really excited and I'm a little nervous to see the type of books that he's gonna get me. So let's go and see which books he gets me.
Are we changing the rules? There are no rules.
There's only 2 rules. You have to
500 pages or less.
Yeah. And then one is going to be one that's actually in my TBR already.
So I get to actually only pick 3 and then one's your TBR.
Well, you can pick 4 if you want. And then the 5th one will be my TBR.
And you're going to read all 5 books this month?
Yeah, that's why there is a page limit, so I can read them all.
Okay. So we're at Barnes & Noble. And I get to pick up to 5 books under 500 pages. There was other rules, you had other rules, you told me, and I was like, that's not as fun.
Yeah, picking like a genre, he said just scratch that, we're not gonna do that. He's just gonna go on his own free will, so we'll see what he does with that. And
I'm actually gonna try, because I've seen other videos, you've made me watch them, and they were like, oh, you're gonna read Scooby-Doo. It's like, no, I want you to, I wanna see how good I can get it where you actually like the book. What's gonna be your game plan? There's a couple of like thriller books I want to look at again. I've looked at these before. I'm kind of thinking like, what would I like to read? Okay, but well, I'm too lazy to read. But you're not into romance, so it's all. No, but I like a little romedy, little rom-com. I like a little rom-com. Are you gonna look at the cover? Or are you gonna look at the back? It is gonna first be cover. People say don't judge books by the cover, but they make better covers. So my first instinct will be cover. Read the back, and if it doesn't sound super cheesy, then that'll probably be it. Okay. He calls it romedy, so we'll go to that romedy section. I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'm really hoping that he gets Emily Henry's new book. Did I say that I was going to pick something like Scooby-Doo? Oh, you're going to read Scooby-Doo. It's like, no, I lied. This one is called Meddling Kids. It takes place first in 1977. I guess used to solve murders with a dog. Now it's 1990, which I'm like obsessed with the 90s right now. I'm a 90s kid. It sounds good. Carla can tell you more. Just look at it though. The cover looks awesome. Cute. And if you end up not liking it, this fits my aesthetic in my room. The only reason why he's saying that is because he wants you to look at You should look at my room. It's really nice. It does sound pretty cool. Picks so far, and these are subject to change, except this one, Meddling Kids. The fine print. This one is like a theme park, very much like Disney, which I thought that'd be interesting. It was in the Romedy section. This one gave me the vibes of when I used to live in Washington. So, and I know Carla likes that aesthetic, so I thought that'd be cool. And then A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. Demons, Witches, Romedy. Rom-com. Romedy. Actually sign up for a membership because we come here way too much and you get pretty good perks, so this is why we have this big thing. I'm gonna start with one that I got Carla. This is not part of the thing. This was for Carla's birthday. She wanted this, and so I grabbed her this. Book number 1 that I chose. This one, I went for the vibe of Washington. I used to live there. Carla wants to go on a road trip to Oregon, and I think this would probably put her in the mindset. I don't know much about it. I picked it because of the cover. This is the one that I was like, I'm just gonna pick something that looks cool, and I thought this one looked cool. The fine print, I picked this one up because it has to do with theme parks, and we are giant Disney fans, and this kind of seemed like a Disney type of thing, but I don't think it is.
The first book in the Dreamland series, and I was actually hoping he would get this one. I had to basically guide him to the more spicy section because he was more in like the Hallmark section. I had to like bring him to the like basically like HBO Euphoria section where there's actual like more spice to it, and this is where it was. So I'm glad that he actually picked this one up because I've been wanting to read it for a really long time.
This one, gonna get Carla into the more of the Hallmark section here. That's where I picked this part up. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. This seems fun. I don't know, maybe it's like gonna be super cheesy, but I feel like that's why you read these types of books. So you kind of expect what's happening, you get what you need out of it.
Yeah, when he first showed me this, it was a couple weeks ago when we went to Half Price Books, and when he wanted me to grab it, I didn't really like the cover. I don't know why, it's just, it looked very young adult, so we'll see how this one goes.
The next one I grabbed is Meddling Kids. This seems like Scooby-Doo. I said I'm not gonna pick her up Scooby-Doo. Oh, you're gonna read Scooby-Doo. It's like, no, but it's an adult Scooby-Doo, and it takes place in the 90s, which, 90s kid, really fun stuff going on in the 90s. I feel like this is gonna be really out of your comfort zone, but
yeah, it's definitely going to be.
Could be fun. And it's also like, it looks like a really short read.
And it looks like it actually glows in the dark because the cover just seems like it would.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I mostly like the cover because of the dog. He's like right here.
That's Scooby-Doo, dog. Oh, you're gonna read Scooby-Doo. It's like, no. The last one I got, it's a Netflix series, and the reason why I picked this up is a kid I went to high school with and played football with and then also did theater with. His name is Cal Skogman. I don't know if that's what his show name is, but that's his real name is Cal Skogman. He is in the series and it's called Shadow and Bone. I don't know much about this, but I thought it'd be cool for you to read and tell me about it. And then maybe we can watch the show.
Okay, so it's actually been a couple of hours. I am going to be doing a part 2 in this where I actually rate the books because I'm really curious to see what I actually rate them. Right now we're going to predict what I'm going to rate them just based on the back and the actual cover or what I think it's going to be for me. So we're actually going to start with the fine print. Now this one I was actually very happy that he picked out because I've been wanting to read this for the longest time. It's basically the first book in the Billionaire Dreamland series, and I've heard nothing but great reviews about this, and I've been really eyeing this every time that I go. I think that this is going to be a 4-star just because it's giving me a little bit of like the Twisted series and how the first one I actually didn't really enjoy as much as the other ones, and I really do think that this is going to do the same for me where I actually like them, but they're not going to be my favorite couple. So I really do think that this is going to be the twisted love in this series, so I think we're going to be rating this a 4. Next one is going to be Credence by Penelope Douglas. I don't really know much about either. I just know that a lot of people love this and it has a lot of spice, I believe. And I also think that this is like a close proximity trope. I think that I'm actually going to be rating this a 5. I think this is going to be really cute because I think that they're forced to stay in the house. Next one is going to be A Witch's Guide to Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. I think that I'm going to be rating this a 3, but for some reason I feel like this is going to wow me more than I think it will. I don't know, I just don't really enjoy the cover, so this is why I never really picked it up. Last one is going to be Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know how to say their name, so I'm sorry if I butchered it, but I do think that I'm going to be giving this like a 4.5 just because this is fantasy and I do think that I'm going to enjoy this. I have really high hopes for this book, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a 5-star for me, or like a 4.5 at least. I'm going to be doing a part 2, so I hope you guys stick around for that, and I'm very excited to do that and give him my honest review and let him know what they were all about. I'm actually going to be including my April wrap up just because they are pretty small. We're gonna start very strong with Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlin. This is a second chance trope where they met in college, they didn't talk for 15 years. There was a reason why, and so they see each other for the first time for a couple seconds in the subway in New York, and so when he does, he just wants to figure out what happened and why they stopped talking. I didn't really enjoy it. I rate this book 2 just because I didn't like the way that it really ended and just their actions and their reasonings. Like, I just feel like there was a lot of miscommunication and they weren't telling each other what they truly wanted, and I just hate that, so I didn't enjoy this book. Next one is going to be Scar, and this is by Emily McIntyre. This is the second book in the Never After series, and this one is definitely on my top 5 books of the year because it was so good. This is basically about Tristan and Sarah, and how Sarah is going to be dating or marrying Tristan's brother. Tristan's older brother actually ascends to the throne, so Sarah and Michael are getting married. Now Tristan and Sarah's banter is so cute from the beginning. I just love them so much. Tristan's like past, it was so sad, and just the way that he loves Sarah is just, I don't know, like this is like true soulmates to me, and I just love Sarah so much. She is one of my favorite female characters, but I do recommend you guys to look up trigger warnings because like every dark romance, there are people that are sensitive to certain topics, so I do recommend doing that before then. But I do really highly recommend this book, and I give this book a 5-star, obviously. Next book is going to be Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Now people also love this book. I read this book first before We Were Strangers, and I do see a lot of resemblance with these two because in this one also they didn't talk for years, and there was a reason to it, and for whatever reason I'm not into that kind of like second chance tropes because these two have that. I think like these two shouldn't have had second chances. They should have been together from the beginning, and I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy this one either. Yeah, I rate this one a 2 also. Last book is going to be the first book in the ACOTAR series. Now I love this book too. It's a whirlwind of emotions. A lot of things happened, and I really do highly recommend this. I am a huge fan of Tamlin and Farah. Farah is another one of my favorite female characters. But yeah, the ending with everything that happened, especially by the end, words cannot explain to you guys how shocked I was with everything. But yeah, I really do highly recommend this one too. It was a really good book. And because my TBR, like all the books that he chose for me are pretty like thick, he's not gonna be choosing from my TBR this month just because that's already so many books and I'm gonna have to read all of these. Like there's no not doing it. So yeah, I'm not gonna have him pick any of these because this is already way too much for me. I'm really excited to read them all. Let me know if you guys have read any of these and what your opinions were, but if you guys didn't enjoy them, don't let me know because I'm really easily influenced, and when you say something is not good, I'm already gonna go into that mindset when I read the book where, oh, Mackenzie didn't like it because blah blah blah, you know? Yeah, let me know if you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys in the next video.
You're gonna read Scooby-Doo. It's like, no,